Smartphone stabilization has gotten pretty good. Personally, I haven't really seen a need for gimbals until I heard about this. This is the Hohem iSteady M6, and it is a smartphone gimbal, but what makes it special is this. This is an AI camera that allows your gimbal to track your subjects without having to use a dedicated app, meaning that you can use the native camera app or whatever app that you prefer to create your own content. So whether you're using Filmic Pro, live streaming, or just even FaceTiming with a friend, by using hand gestures like this, the camera can follow your face. It lets you use the back camera, and as long as it's light screen, you know you're in frame, and I find that super helpful. It also acts as a light so you can make sure your shots are always well lit, and has all the basic stuff you're looking for in a gimbal. First up, thanks to Hohem for sending this device out so that we can review it. This video is not sponsored. They don't see the video before I post it or ask anything for me to say. So this is 100% my honest review. Let's get into it. So the device comes with the gimbal. It comes with a little tripod mount so that you can screw it in and keep it stable while you have it out. So you basically just hold the power button for 3 seconds to turn it on, and then it balances itself. It's better if you do it on a table and all that. It's got all of the basic gimbal functions, which is pan follow, meaning that you can go side to side and it'll keep everything pretty balanced. It's got pan tilt follow, meaning that you can go sideways, up and down, and the camera will follow that movement. It's got L, which is locked, which means it basically keeps that camera position locked, and it's very helpful, especially if you're moving around and want to keep a subject in that frame. You got POV, which is really good for those speed ramp edits that you want to do. That makes everything look really cool. You can roll it, tilt it forward, backwards, upwards, all that stuff. And to get into sport mode, you just hold the trigger and it lets you move the gimbal around quickly if you want to keep track of something fast. And lastly is Inception mode, which is always a fan favorite. You basically just got to go into pan follow, press it 3 times, and then it'll say ICP, which gives you that really cool looking rolling shot that you hold in a flashlight mode, and it just spins around while you're doing your things. I like that it has dedicated buttons for everything, so that if you want to turn the light on, you basically just have to hold this button for 3 seconds and it activates the light. You can adjust that brightness by rolling that wheel up or down. If you want to activate color LED lights, you just tap it 3 times. And that just lets you adjust the colors of the lights. If you use the Hohem Joy app, you can adjust the roll and focus of the camera so you have better control of your shot. This A and B button is great if you want movement in your camera without having someone to move it for you. By default, it's set to a 1-minute motion, but you can adjust all of that within the app as well. You definitely get more function out of the gimbal when you use the dedicated app, but I love the fact that you can use the gimbal without having to use an app. A 400-gram payload is pretty crazy because you can use quite a large phone and a bunch of accessories and it should still work. Modern smartphones already have such great stabilization, but a gimbal just really helps you give that extra stable shot, especially if you want motion blur and want to shoot in low light. Using a gimbal helps make sure those things are not as shaky. Another thing that this gimbal does really well is if you want to shoot on a super wide angle, you can actually move this motor around to avoid it being inside of your shot. The more you use this device, the more you realize Hohem has really thought about all the details that you don't necessarily think of until you start shooting with the gimbal and you see that this could have been a potential problem, but Hohem just has already thought about all that, and I find it super helpful. It's got a crazy battery life and ports to even charge your phone with while you're filming, so you're not worried about your phone or gimbal dying while you're out and about. Because it's got a pretty bright screen, using it outdoors, you know what mode you're in. And that is super helpful, especially when you're not super used to all the modes of the gimbal yet. The 2 main caveats that I have about this device is that there's no button to switch this between horizontal and vertical. You can just turn this device sideways in pan follow mode to get it into a vertical position. However, this doesn't account for a tilt. So in order to get full function of the gimbal in vertical mode, you actually do have to turn this off. Rebalance it with the mount vertical already, and then you'll be able to use the gimbal as normal, which I understand is better for your shots, and you basically have to plan before you shoot, which is better in general. But because I don't know if I'm supposed to be filming in horizontal or vertical most of the times, that makes it a little bit more difficult for me, but that's just a me thing. And like I said earlier, the other thing I'm not too sure about is that you can't fold this up super compact, which makes it hard to be a travel companion, but I do like the fact that it comes with a carrying case, so I will be making a last minute decision to see if I want to bring this or not. That being said, I can see this device being a super helpful tool, especially with this AI tracker. As a solo content creator, it's super helpful to make sure that you're always in frame without having a secondary eye on it. But that's my first look. I think it's a great device. I'm gonna dive a bit deeper into all this and see what else we can make with it. If you got any questions, let me know down below, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye guys.